Okay, can everybody see and hear me?
Yes po.
Class, can you? Okay. Okay, so our subject matter for this morning is about the neurovascular structures of the lower extremity. So when we say neurovascular structures class, no, think of the nerve supply, the arterial supply, okay, the venous drainage, and the lymphatic structures. Okay, so these are the components of when you say it is about the neurovascular structures. Okay, neuro for the nerves and the vessels for the vascular. So that's why it is called the neurovascular structures. Okay, so of course, our main objective for this morning's discussion is about at the end of this lecture, at least the student must be able to at least describe, no, if not describe, discuss, no, the neurovascular structures of the lower extremities. So we will start with the discussion on the lumbosacral plexus. So when we say lumbosacral plexus, this is the uh, entire origin, the origin of every nerve supply to the lower extremity. But take note that the lumbosacral plexus is not only, the origin of the nerves supplying the lower extremity, but remember that even the structures of the pelvis and the pelvic cavity arises from the lumbosacral plexus. Okay, so how are we going to take note of this lumbosacral plexus. So, if you are going to look at the picture class, no, how will you be able to see the lumbosacral plexus? So, the lumbosacral plexus could be seen after the removal uh, of the vascular, or I mean the visceral organs of the abdomen. Okay, because the lumbosacral plexus is located, and it is being discussed actually when we are discussing about the posterior abdominal wall. So you are now looking at the posterior abdominal wall, and if you're going to look at this picture, you will be able to see the different muscles of the abdominal wall. So you have your psoas major and the psoas major, and you have the psoas minor, no? So this is your psoas minor, the one that is extending from the lumbar going down is your psoas major. And then you have the iliacus muscle, okay? So you have the iliacus muscle that is covering entirely the ilium, okay, or the iliac fossa, okay? And then you have your quadratus lumborum muscle. Okay, so this is how we're going to look at it. And then when we speak of the lumbosacral plexus, you will see that the lumbar plexus is emerging, no? Is emerging on the lateral side, okay, of your um, lumbar, okay, and the sacral vertebra. Okay, so this is the sacrum, and that is your lumbar vertebra. And then you will see the relationship of your lumbosacral structures, okay, how is it, okay, associated with your psoas? Okay, so that is how are we going to look at the different branches of your lumbosacral plexus. Okay, so let's go to the lecture proper. Okay, so when we speak of the lumbosacral plexus, okay, you could discuss lumbar plexus, or you could discuss it separately, no? Discussing the lumbar plexus first and then discuss the sacral plexus. Okay, so that you'll be able to understand well what dorsal root nerves are associated with the lumbar plexus. Okay, so if you're going to look at the lumbar plexus, Cas, okay, these are the origin, or the lumbar plexus is the origin of all the nerves that innervates the back, the abdomen, the groin, the thighs, the knees, and the calf. Okay, so take note of your lumbosacral plexus. So actually, the lumbar plexus is it is associated with the brachial plexus, no? If you still remember the brachial plexus that we discussed, no? That we discussed when we discussed the region of the upper limb. And then usually originated from the ventral rami of L1, L2, L3, L4 spinal nerves with the contribution of your T12. Okay? So T12 is not exempted. No, if you still remember what is your T12? Your T12 is your subcostal, no? So this is your thoracic nerve number 12. Okay, so it does not innervate the thoracic region, okay, but the T12 will be innervating, no, part of the abdominal wall, okay. So that's why it gives contribution to your lumbar plexus. And then, as I told you, that the lumbar plexus is associated, no, and they are lying within the psoas major muscle. Okay, so they are lying within the substance of your psoas major muscle. Okay, so this is how are you going to look at it, class? No, so these are if you're going to look at the legend, no, the blue is the ventral rami. Okay, so these are the ventral ramus, and then the yellow ones are the dorsal or the anterior division, and then you have the green, which is your posterior division of the lumbar plexus. Okay, so that is how are we going to take note of the different branches of your lumbar plexus. And then on the middle picture, which is letter B, okay, so you will be able to see the cadaveric picture of the location of your lumbar plexus nerves. Okay, so we are looking at the anterior view. Okay, so to identify more, no, you could see the different structures you will find at the posterior abdominal wall. Okay, and then on the picture letter C, okay, you will see the different major nerves, no, that is arising from the lumbar plexus and how they are distributed. Okay, how they are distributed going to the lower limb. Okay, so that is how I going to take note of the lumbar plexus. Okay, so let's begin and draw. Okay, draw your lumbar plexus. So you have your lumbar one. Okay, so this is lumbar two, lumbar three, and lumbar four. No, and of course you have your lumbar five. Okay, now although we said that the origin of your lumbar plexus is mainly coming from your T12 and L1 to L4, no? But take note that they have contribution coming from your T12 in your lumbar 5. Okay, so you draw a line, okay? Take note, okay? And then you draw another line, okay? And then take note of your T12. We said that lumbosacral plexus has a contribution that is coming from your T12. Okay? And then you draw a line connecting the nerve that is coming from your lumbar one. Okay? And that will give you the iliohypogastric. Okay? So if you're going to look at this picture class, no, your iliohypogastric arise from the T12 and your lumbar one. Okay, so that is your iliohypogastric. And take note also of your ilioinguinal. Okay, so these are the two structures or the two um, branches of your lumbosacral or your lumbar plexus that is arising from your T12 and your lumbar 1 spinal root. Okay, then you draw a line, okay, coming from lumbar 2, okay, and connect it with your lumbar 1, and that gives you the genitofemoral nerve. Okay, so it means that the uh, origin of your genitofemoral is L1 and your lumbar 2. Okay, so you draw another line arising from lumbar 2 and put another line from lumbar 3, okay, and also the one that is coming from lumbar 4, okay, and then from your lumbar 2, okay, get another line, okay, and then from lumbar 3, okay, you make another line, and from your lumbar 4. Okay, so the structure that is coming from your L2 and L3 is your obturator. Okay, if you're going to look at the origin of your L2 and your L3, okay, the origin of your obturator nerve is from L2 and L3. And also a contribution coming from your L4. So L2, L3, and L4 is the origin of your obturator nerve. Okay, and then you have the nerve that is arising coming from your lumbar 2. Okay, and then you make another branch coming from your lumbar 2. Okay, and then from lumbar 2, okay, you get another line that is coming from your lumbar 3. Okay, and make another line that is connecting the branch that is coming from your L2 and your L3. Okay, so if you're going to look at this, the origin of your lateral femoral will be arising coming from your L2, L3. Okay, can you see that? So from L2 and L3. So that is your lateral femoral nerve. Okay, and lateral femoral cutaneous. And then the nerve that is arising coming from L2, L3, L4, okay, will your femoral, okay, will be your femoral nerve. Okay, so take note of this femoral nerve because this is said to be the largest branch of your lumbar plexus. Okay, so the origin of your femoral nerve is your L2, L3, L4. Okay, and then you draw a line, okay, from your lumbar 5. Okay, okay, and then take note that your femoral nerve will be, as I said, will be arising from your L2, L3, L4. Okay, nag-ano siya, nag-hang. Okay, and then L4, L5, and then when you connected your L4, L5, it will give you the lumbosacral trunk. Okay? So, kaya nagkameron ng contribution coming from your L5 because of your lumbosacral trunk. So, take note that when somebody will ask you, okay, what is the origin of your lumbosacral trunk? Okay, that will be coming from your L4, L5. Okay, so I suggest class that you try to know this if you are able if you are able to memorize, no? Hindi ko sinabing understand lang, you need to memorize, no? So if you can memorize your lumbar plexus like how you memorize your brachial plexus. By the way, class, no? Tapos na yung board exam ng first batch of your board exam, yung April 4 and 5, no? So anatomy board exam was given on the first day, no? The second subject after biochemistry. So just the same, no, according to the to those students who took the board exam, ang hirap na naman daw ng anatomy. Okay? So ang hirap na naman daw ng board exam ng anatomy. So I told you that's why anatomy is always one of the most difficult subjects during the board exam kasi nga what happened is anatomy is in the first year subject, is a first year subject. So pagdating ng second year, third year, and third year, no, if the students will not recall, no, and will not read every time you discuss some clinical topic in your higher subjects, no, then you will not be able to remember anatomy. Okay, so that's why ang ini-advise ngayon ng PRC is every time you, kunyari, parang sa pathology kayo, no? And you are already in the pathology of the lungs. So always, before going to the pathology or the diseases about the lungs, you need to recall anatomy of the lungs. Okay, so always do that way, class, no? Kung hindi i-discuss ng pathology ang anatomy, no? It is better na bago kayo before you be able to read anything about the lungs, no? Then the pathology of the lungs, kunyari bronchogenic carcinoma, okay? So you read something about the anatomy of the bronchus. Okay, ano yung normal? And then after discussing the normal, okay, then you discuss and know the pathology. Okay, so I hope that that will be a good advice, no? So ang pag ako nga what I advise to my students, no? Specifically no sa LCUP kasi sa LCUP kasi lahat ng PowerPoints ay ibinibigay. Okay, yung kasi ibang school na pinagtuturuan ko, hindi ako nagpo-post ng PowerPoint ko kasi because What is my reason behind? I want the students to read the book. Okay? Although passing anatomy sometimes rely on the PowerPoint that is given, but take note that ang importante din ay yung board exam. Kasi definitely when you read your book, no, alam niyo na kung ano yung content ng PowerPoint. So, it is better na if the PowerPoints were shared by the faculty members, like ng LCUP, all PowerPoints are being shared. No, aside pa doon nakalagay na si PowerPoint, yung ibang faculty naka-record pa. Okay, so I suggest na you read the PowerPoint and then read your book, no? So, ang suggestion ko is at the end of the school year, dapat yung kung magre-rely kayo sa SNEL, no? Or your more, dapat yung more or yung SNEL, no? At the end of the school year, tapos nyo na siyang basahin from cover to cover. Para pagdating ng board exam ninyo, no, you are going to use the same book and then kung ano yung na-underline ninyo, yun na lang yung i-review nyo ulit. Kasi it will be very difficult to pass the subject sa board exam kung first time ninyo magbabasa ng libro, no, 1 to 2 months before the board exam. Kasi ang board exam kunyari, October, gaya ngayon, October nag-umpisa. Dati September, ginuwang October. Kasi yung internship ended July 30, no? Yung iba, first week of August, nag-end. So there is only uh, 3 weeks of August and a month of September to review. Okay? And it is very difficult to take board exam. Yung kumbaga, hindi mo na ako mag-take ng board exam ngayong batch na ito kasi I am not ready. Okay? Paano hindi ka ready? Katatapos mo lang. Mas mahirap yung nag-take ka ng board exam later kasi mas makakalimutan mo na yung previous knowledge mo. Kasi ang board exam lang naman, yung mga stock knowledge Okay? Kumbaga, isusupport mo lang yung pinag-aralan mo so that you'll be able uh, to have a very good performance during the board exam. Okay, so let's go back to our topic that is lumbar plexus, no? So this is how are you going to draw the whole of your lumbar plexus. So I I told you take look first at the legend. So you have anterior division, yung ating green, okay? And then you have the posterior division, yung yellow. Okay, and then take note of your, remember that your lumbar plexus is a derivative of the ventral ramus of your ventral rami of your spinal nerve. Okay, so starting from your T12, take a look at your T12, no? So that is your subcostal, no? As I said, your T12 is your subcostal. This is a part of the thoracic nerve, but it does not innervate the thoracic region. Okay, it is part of the thoracic region, okay, but it does not innervate the thoracic region because it innervates the upper portion, no, the subcostal, no, the upper portion of the anterior abdominal wall. Okay, so take a look at the different branches. So we said that the origin of your lumbar plexus arises from L1, L2, L3, L4 with contribution coming from your T12 and your lumbar spine. Okay, so I think we already discussed all. Okay, so you have your subcostal nerve that arises from your T12. Okay, and then there is a connection, okay, from your T12 to lumbar 1. Okay, so that your iliohypogastric will be arising coming from your L1. Okay, and then you have your L2. Okay, this take note of the iliohypogastric. Your L1 and your T12 and your L1 will be giving rise to your iliohypogastric and your ilioinguinal. Okay, and then you have your genitofemoral. Okay, and yung genitofemoral class. So this is arising from your L1 and L2. And then you have the lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh, which is arising from L2 and L3. That is anterior. That is the posterior division. And then you have your your femoral nerve, okay, your femoral nerve, okay, which is arising from L2, L3, L4, okay, and the smaller nerves are the origin of the muscular branches. So this will be giving rise to the nerve that will be supplying the psoas in the iliacus. Okay, so you have your anterior division, okay, where you see your accessory obturator nerve. Okay, now take note, class, that the accessory obturator nerve is not always present. Okay, it's not always present. This is arising from L3, L4. And then you have your obturator nerve, okay, origin from L2, L3, L4. And then you have your L4, L5, which will give you the lumbosacral trunk. Okay, so please take note of your lumbar plexus. Okay, so in cases when you have a patient, no, who might have some problem, okay, with your femoral nerve, no. So what are some of the conditions that might give rise to a femoral nerve lesion? Okay, so one condition is if a patient was found to have an abscess of the psoas major. Okay, so if a patient was found or was diagnosed to have an abscess of the psoas major, then there will be some weakness in the ability to flex the thigh at the hip joint. Okay, there will be weakness in the ability to extend the leg at the knee. Okay, and there will be diminished there will be diminished patellar tendon reflex. Okay, so if you have this kind of patient showing these kinds of manifestation, then assume that there is a femoral nerve lesion. Okay, so please take note. Okay, what about if you have a patient with obturator nerve lesion? Now, always remember, class, that when you speak of the obturator nerve lesion, no, so this is the nerve, okay, wherein the lesion might be commonly arising in the pelvis, okay. So that is, remember that your obturator nerve is being transmitted in the obturator canal together with your obturator artery and vein. Okay, and you can see your obturator foramen, okay, that obturator canal on top of the membrane that is covering your obturator fossa or your obturator foramen. Okay, so in patients with obturator nerve lesion, you can see that patients are unable to adduct the thigh at hip. Okay, so when there is a patient with obturator nerve lesion, patients are unable to adduct the thigh at the hip. Okay, and there will be some manifestation of paresthesia. Okay, when you see paresthesia, class, this is numbness, okay, of the skin over the medial thigh. Okay, so these are some of the manifestation if you have your obturator nerve lesion. Okay, so if you're going to look at this picture, no, we could uh, um, we could ask, okay, so what is this nerve that is arising? The one I'm pointing, what nerve is this, class? Huh? So we said that the origin of your lumbar plexus arises from L1, L2, L3, L4, no? And with a contribution coming from your T12 in your lumbar 5. Huh? So what is the origin of your lumbosacral trunk, class? Huh? What is the origin?
L4, L5 po.
Okay, so your L4, L5 will give rise to your lumbosacral trunk. And what nerve is the one I'm pointing? Hmm? We said that this nerve arises from your L2, L3, L4. So what is this?
Femoral nerve po.
Huh? So this is your, huh? What is this? Anybody? Mr. Bagat, what is this? Are you around? Ha, class? No, this is a format. Okay, ganito na lang. Anyway, this PowerPoint is already posted. So I want you to answer all the nerves, okay? All the nerves of all the branches of your lumbar plexus, okay? And try to post it Sino kayong president, Mr. De Leon? Kindly collate the answer and post it in the Google Classroom for your formative quiz, ha? Para makadiretso na tayo kasi it's already past 11. Okay, so from the lumbar plexus, let's proceed to the sacral, okay? So the sacral plexus class, if you're going to look at the nerve that is coming out of your sacral foramen or sacral canal. Okay, so take note that in the sacrum you will find you will find openings, no? So take note that this opening is where your sacral nerves are being transmitted. So that is from S1, S2, S3, S4, and S5. Okay? So from the start here, okay, from this point here is the start of your sacral nerve plexus. So you try to look at the sacral nerve, okay? Your sacral nerve will be giving rise for your superior gluteal and your inferior gluteal, no? To take a look at the different roots of your superior gluteal and your inferior gluteal. And then, of course, take note of the biggest nerve that we have in our body, and that is your sciatic nerve. Okay, so take a look at the origin of your sciatic nerve from L4, L5, S1, S2, no? And then S2, no? And then S2. And then you will see that you'll be having the biggest nerve that we have in our body. This is divided into two parts, the common peroneal and the tibial part. Okay, so your sciatic nerve will be found beneath your piriformis, no, being your piriformis as the landmark. Okay, the muscle landmark that is found at the buttocks that will tell you whether the vessel is superior gluteal or inferior gluteal. So the classification of your sacral nerve, okay, sacral plexus, okay, being one of the branches is your sciatic nerve. No, your sciatic nerve is considered as an inferior, okay, an inferior gluteal nerve. Okay, so please take note of the different branches of your sacral plexus. Okay, so you have your branches that is going to the lower limb that leave the pelvis through the greater sciatic foramen. Okay, so that is your sciatic nerve arising from L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3. Okay, so these are the branches of your sacral plexus. Okay, innervating the lower limb that leave the pelvis through to the greater sciatic foramen. So one of these is your sciatic nerve. Next is the superior gluteal. So your superior gluteal nerve also is being transmitted, okay, through your greater sciatic foramen, and this nerve innervates the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus. Okay, you have your inferior gluteal. So the inferior gluteal nerve is a branch of the sacral plexus that innervates the gluteus maximus. Okay, and you have your nerve to quadratus femoris, and you have the nerve to obturator internus. Okay, plus your posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay, so all of those were the nerves that is being transmitted through your greater sciatic foramen. And take note that they are branches of the sacral plexus, okay, going to the level to the lower limb and leave the pelvis by way of your greater sciatic foramen. Okay. Now, how about the branch of your sacral plexus, okay, that is innervating the pelvic muscles, pelvic viscera, and the perineum. Okay, so you have your pudendal. So the pudendal is originates from your S2, S3, S4, and it is innervating the all structures located at the perineum. Okay, and then you have the nerve to piriformis. Okay, another pelvic nerve, and the pelvic splanchnic nerves, okay, which is an S2, S3, S4 derivative. And then you have your perforating cutaneous nerve that supplies the skin on the lower medial part of the buttock. Okay, So what are the cutaneous innervation? Okay, so we said that the last branch of your sacral plexus are the nerve which is your perforating cutaneous nerve. Okay, so they are the cutaneous nerve supplying the skin on the lower medial part of the buttocks. Okay, so the lateral cutaneous nerve is a branch of the common peroneal nerve. Okay, so these are the different nerves that are said to be responsible for cutaneous innervation. And then you have the superficial peroneal nerve, which is also a branch of your peroneal nerve. And then the saphenous nerve, which is a branch of the femoral nerve. Okay, so please take note of the different cutaneous nerve and the structures they innervate. Okay, so just take a look at the picture, no, and you will see, okay, where is your lateral cutaneous nerve. Okay, so take note that you have your sciatic nerve this way, no. So this is how we're going to identify your sciatic nerve. Okay, so it is coming out of the greater sciatic foramen. Okay, and then you will see that it is composing of your common peroneal. Okay, the branch of your sciatic that is going to the lateral side of the leg, and then you have your tibial. Okay, so this is the tibial, which is the bigger one. Okay, and then if you are going to look, your common peroneal is divided into two branches: the superficial and the deep. Okay, deep peroneal nerve. Okay, and then you will see that all of these structures, no, arises from the sciatic nerve. So as I told you a while ago, class, your sciatic nerve will be innervating all the structures and parts of your thigh, posterior thigh, and the posterior leg. Okay, so from the sciatic, okay, and I said it will be passing by way of the popliteal fossa, and then branch out to become the common peroneal and your tibial nerve. No, yan ang tibial nerve. This is your tibial nerve. So if you're going to look at the branches of your sciatic nerve, what are the branches of your sciatic nerve? No, so you have your common peroneal nerve. Okay, so these are your dermatomal innervation, no, cutaneous. So you have your common peroneal nerve via your lateral sural, to do ang lateral sural. So this big area here is supplied by the medial sural cutaneous nerve, superficial peroneal, the sural, yung baba, and then you have your tibial nerve via your medial calcaneal branches. Okay? So by just looking at the picture, you'll be able to identify the different cutaneous innervation of the lower extremities. Okay, so your saphenous nerve, no? Take a look at your saphenous nerve. So this is your saphenous nerve class. So you will see the saphenous nerve running down the medial side of the leg. Okay, and remember that your saphenous nerve runs through with your great saphenous vein. Okay, so you will be identifying this great saphenous vein. These are the superficial veins of the lower extremities, the great saphenous and the lesser saphenous. So where are you going to see your great saphenous vein? You will see a great saphenous vein from the dorsal venous network, okay, to the medial side of the leg. And with your great saphenous vein, you will see your saphenous nerve. Okay? So your saphenous nerve will be lying besides your great saphenous vein running down the medial side of the leg. And then it will pass in front of your medial malleolus, no? So if you could identify, I hope that in the cadavers, no, I think we already have a new cadaver there. Okay, so we are going to dissect the new cadaver so that we'll be able to uh, find some of this nerve. And take note that the saphenous nerve is uh, cutaneous, so it is very shallow. No, I hope na when we are trying to remove the superficial fascia, we'll be able to identify the saphenous nerve, and it is supplying the skin over the anterior medial surface of the leg. So that is your saphenous nerve. Okay, so we have the sural. So when we say sural, no, the sural is a branch of the tibial. Okay, so nandiyan ang tibial, no? So you will see that your sural is a branch. It accompanies the small saphenous vein behind the lateral malleolus. So we are going to look for the the small saphenous or the lesser saphenous vein, and try to look for the sural nerve if we can find it. And then remember that your sural supplies the skin over the lower part of the posterior lateral surface of the leg. Okay, so these are some of the innervations, okay, being shown here. So this part of the anterior knee, no, the anterior part of your leg and foot, this part of this anterior part of your leg is innervated with the superficial peroneal nerve. So this is small part here on the lateral side of your foot is innervated by your sural. And then the website, okay, the website that is in between the big toe and the second toe is innervated by your deep peroneal nerve. Okay, ito class yung lumabas doon sa diplomate board exam na hindi ko siya ma-recall, no? So ito yung mali ko doon sa board exam, deep peroneal nerve. And then at the sole, no? So you will see your tibial nerve, okay, up to this point, and then your saphenous nerve on the medial side of the foot. Okay, yeah, medial side of the foot. And then sural, this one is this one. And then you have the lateral plantar and the medial plantar nerve. Okay, so please take note of this innervations, okay, of the anterior and posterior side of the leg, plus the dorsum and the sole of the foot. Okay, so we have here a case of a patient having a case of sciatic nerve lesion. Remember, class, that the sciatic nerve is very susceptible when you are doing some intramuscular injections at the buttocks, no? So remember that when you are going to do some injections, okay, on the buttocks of your patient, you need to draw two straight lines, one vertical and one horizontal, okay? And then you are going to locate the upper quadrant or the lower quadrant, no? Lower middle quadrant, because the damage is done if you inject or you make your injection at the center where your straight lines meet. Okay? So yung nasa corner na yon, no, kung nasaan yung nasa gitna nung kung saan nag-meet yung straight lines and your horizontal line to give you a four quadrant of your buttocks of your patient, no, yun dun hindi ka dapat mag-i-inject because it is assuming it is being assumed that the sciatic nerve is on that point. So where are you going to give your injection? You're going to give injection on the upper quadrant, okay, upper outer quadrant of the buttock. So yung nasa bandang labas. Okay, so you can inject anywhere on that upper quadrant of the buttocks to prevent uh, um, the prevent injection on your sciatic nerve. Okay, and then also sciatic nerve will happen or could happen if there will be compression as a result of the posterior dislocation of the femur. Okay, so these are some of the um, result if you have a patient with a sciatic nerve lesion. Now, L5 and S1 roots are commonly compressed, no? So, what will be the manifestation if there will be some form of compression of your L5 and S1 roots? So, you will have some pain that will be radiating into the lumbar 5 and S1 dermatomes of the leg and the foot. Okay? So, this is very common class, no? Specifically, kung when you are sitting for a long time, no? Kaya nga sometimes I don't want to stay longer sitting in front of my laptop kapag nag-o-online lecture. Kasi minsan, naiipit, no, nakukompress yung sciatic nerve ko, and then what will happen? There will be some numbness. If not numbness, pain on the lower side, posterior side of my leg and my thigh, and even my foot. Okay, and then usually ang pain kasi naka-experience na ako nito, parang hindi lang siya pain, parang yung pain na yan na tingling sensation na may pain, no? Parang you can't describe the pain that is being given if you have some compressions of your sciatic nerve. Okay, what about if there will be some superior gluteal nerve injury? Okay, so there will be weak abduction of the thigh. Okay, remember that the supragluteal nerve innervates the gluteal medius, no, or the gluteus medius. So there will be, remember the main function of the medius is abduction of the thigh. So if there will be some superior gluteal nerve injury, then there will be weakness of in the abduction of the thigh. Okay, so you will be giving a manifestation of a gluteus limb, no? So ganyan ang gluteus limb class, yung picture B. Picture A is the normal. Okay? And then kapag gluteus medius limb, ganito yung itsura. Okay, so the swaying, okay, there will be swaying of one side, okay, of the pelvis. Or you can also call this gluteus medius limb secondary to superior gluteal nerve injury as gluteal gait or a waddling gait. Okay? So para ka nagwawaddle, no? Siguro alam niyo naman ang when you are kunyari nasa beach kayo, no? Anong ginagawa mo so that you will be able to accommodate or sustain when you are walking in the water, di ba? Parang itinataas mo si paa mo, okay, to waddle, okay? So that is an example of a gluteal or a waddling gait. Okay, and there is also a positive Trendelenburg, okay, positive Trendelenburg test. Okay, so this is your positive Trendelenburg sign. So if you have a patient with a, Trendelenburg sign, then that is a superior gluteal nerve injury. Okay? So yan yun parang there will be swaying, hindi pantay yung pelvis. Okay, when you are doing um, or when you are walking. Okay, so this is how we're going to test for your positive Trendelenburg sign. So ganyan ang itsura class, no? You're going to draw a line, okay, on top, and then make another line, okay, that will meet on the external-most part of the pelvis on the left side, and then get the angle, okay? So, if you are going to observe, di ba, yung Trendelenburg ay nasa taas kapag normal. Pero kapag abnormal na siya, there is injury to the superior gluteal nerve. Okay, then you will see that the angle is on the lower side, okay, of the axis. Okay, so that is your Trendelenburg sign, which is positive. Okay, ano naman kapag injury to the inferior gluteal nerve? So there will be weakness in the ability to laterally rotate and extend the thigh at hip joint. Okay, so this is and you have also difficulty extending the thigh at the hip form from a flex position, like when you are arising from sitting down or when you are climbing the stair. Okay, so remember that your inferior gluteal innervates your gluteus maximus, no? So the weakness secondary to the inferior gluteal nerve lesion is weakness of your gluteus maximus muscle. So what will be the manifestation? Gluteus maximus gait. So in here, the patients thrust their torso posteriorly in an attempt to counteract the weakness of the gluteus maximus. So parang iuurong mo yung puwet mo, okay, posteriorly yung torso. Okay? So you can try to experiment it yourself, no? How to do this gluteal or waddling gait, and how are you going to do your gluteus maximum gait. Okay, so common peroneal in the fibular nerve lesion, most frequent injured nerve of the lower limb. So take note, no? So this is the more frequent injury. And it happens when there is compression at the neck of the fibula. and hip fracture and femur dislocation. Remember, class, that the common peroneal or the fibular nerve winds around the neck of the fibula. So that's why if there will be some problem with the fibula, no, like compression at the neck, okay, then your common peroneal nerve will be affected. Okay, so what will be the manifestation? This will be the foot drop. Okay, so like when you have injury to the radial nerve, no, you have wrist drop. Okay, so the opposite of your wrist drop is the foot drop. That is when you have injury to the common peroneal, or the other name of the common peroneal is the fibular nerve. So there will be loss of dorsiflexion, okay, anterior ankle, and loss of eversion of the foot. Okay, so that is your foot drop. Okay, so how are you going to test if a patient has common peroneal? So when you have a foot drop, no, you are going to raise the affected leg high, no, kasi nakabitin yung paa eh, no. So pag tinaas mo siyang maigi, no, and then pagbalik mo sa ground, mag-i-slap yung foot mo sa ground. Kasi nga to accommodate, kasi nga naka-foot drop ka. So mangyayari nga, itataas mo ngayon yung paa mo, and then biglang babagsak sa ground. Okay, that is what we call the step page gait. Okay, so that is your step page gait. Okay, so you can experiment it, no? Medyo mataas yung, instead na normal lang yung pag humahakbang ka, no? So but ang mangyayari, you're going to elevate higher, okay, the affected foot, okay, to accommodate the slapping of the foot on the ground. Okay, so that is what we call the step page gait. So other manifestation when you have common peroneal nerve lesion, okay, pale in paresthesia on the lateral leg and dorsum of the foot. Okay. So that, okay, so this is how are you going to look. No, yan ang normal, no? Di ba? Pagka naghahakbang ka, ganyan lang siya. But medyo kang foot drop, nakabitin yung paa mo. So what you're going to do now, if you're going to walk, you're going to elevate more on the affected leg. Okay, so that is what we call the step page gait. Okay, kapag naman the peroneal nerve lesion, okay, when there is compression of the anterior compartment of the leg. Okay, so the patient will also manifest as having a foot drop, okay, and then there will be also paresthesia in the skin on the web space, no? Remember that the web space between the great toe and the second toe is innervated by your deep peroneal nerve. Okay, so that is the area which is being affected. If you have the website, okay, that is, or the web space between the great toe and the second toe. Okay, so that is your nerve, deep peroneal nerve lesion. Okay, ano naman ang manifestation if it is a superficial peroneal nerve lesion? Okay, remember that the areas being innervated by your superficial peroneal nerve is the lateral compartment of the leg. Okay, so if you still remember the lecture in the muscles found on the lateral side of the leg, dalawa lang yung muscle na yon on the lateral leg, no? So what the manifestation of the superficial peroneal nerve lesion is injury, okay, or manifestation showing from the lateral compartment of the leg. So there will be some signs of pain and paresthesia in the dorsum of the foot, and there is weakness in eversion of the foot. Okay, so that is superficial peroneal nerve lesion. Okay, kapag tibial nerve, okay, injury at the gluteal region due to hip fracture or dislocation of femur. Okay, so there will be some sign of weakness to flex the leg at knee and to plantar flex the ankle. Okay, so if you have this kind of patient, then assume that the patient has a tibial nerve lesion. Okay, the patient could not stand on tiptoes, no? Hindi siya makapag-ballet, no? Kasi hindi siya maka-stand on tiptoe. And there will be a paresthesia on the skin of the posterior leg, sole, and the lateral side of the foot. Okay, so now we proceed to the arterial blood supply of the lower extremities. Okay, so we are finished discussing the nerve supply. Okay, so what is the origin of your arterial blood supply of the lower extremity? Remember in class you have your abdominal aorta, okay, and then what happened? Your abdominal aorta, okay, will give rise to common peroneal, the right and the left common peroneal, okay. Not hindi not common peroneal, excuse me, it's common iliac. Okay, so the abdominal aorta uh, will be branching out to give you the common iliac, the right and the left. Okay, the right and the left, and then your common iliac will branch out into two. The one that is giving rise to the external iliac, no, the external iliac and your internal iliac artery. Okay, and then it will happen. Take a look, no? So you have your external iliac here. So what will happen when your external iliac pass through your inguinal ligament? Your external iliac now will become femoral artery. Okay, so it will become femoral artery the moment it pass through over your under your inguinal ligament. Okay, so when your um, femoral artery, okay, becomes the femoral artery, then it will happen. It will be going down, okay, to the thigh. Okay, and then what will happen to the internal iliac branch? It will be moving towards the pelvic cavity. Okay, and give blood to the every structure that is located in the pelvic cavity. Okay, so if you're going to look at the your femoral artery, no, your femoral artery will be giving off different branches. Okay, so you will see that your femoral here will be giving rise to your branches like your superficial circumflex, iliac, lateral circumflex, iliac artery, or lateral circumflex femoral artery. Okay, and then you will have also the medial circumflex artery, femoral artery. So these two structures or two vessels or two arterial vessels will be giving blood to the neck, okay, neck of your femur. This is your femur, no? And then you are going to see that there are a lot of branches. So you have also your deep artery of the thigh, no, which is said to be the biggest branch of your femoral. Okay, and then there will be some perforating arteries, okay, that might be entering the nutrient. They serve as nutrient artery to your femur. Okay, so that is how are going to, and then of course you have also your obturator. Okay, so your obturator class will be arising from this structure. Okay, so let's discuss first the femoral artery. So the femoral artery will enter the thigh behind the inguinal ligament. As I said, the moment the external iliac artery pass through, okay, behind your inguinal ligament, then your external iliac artery becomes femoral artery. It just changes its name. Okay? So pag lumampas na ng inguinal ligament, no, that is how are you going to identify it in your cadaver. So, external iliac artery pa yun kapag nasa taas pa ng inguinal ligament. But the moment it went under, okay, on the lateral side of your inguinal ligament or the Popart's ligament, then your external iliac artery will change its name and it becomes femoral artery. And how are you going to look at the orientation, no? The femoral artery is lateral to your femoral vein. Okay? So it is lateral to the femoral vein. And then what will happen? No? The moment the femoral artery enters the Hunter's canal, remember class that in the middle side of your thigh anteriorly, no, you look for your adductor, no? You look for your adductor magnus because the adductor magnus is the one that contributes to your Hunter's canal. So you will see your femoral artery entering the Hunter's canal, and at this point, no, the femoral artery is no longer lateral to the vein. Okay, but the moment it enters the Hunter's canal, no, Hunter's canal, or the adductor hiatus, yung other name of your Hunter's canal is adductor hiatus. So it is now not lateral to the femoral vein, but it is now anterior to the femoral vein. Okay, so that is when you are going to identify your femoral artery when it enters the Hunter's Canal. Okay, which is wherein, as I said, the Hunter's Canal is a part of your adductor magnus. Okay, so your femoral artery. Okay, what are the largest branch of the femoral artery? Okay, so you have your deep artery of the thigh. Okay, so the deep artery of the thigh is the largest branch of the femoral artery, and this is actually considered the deep artery to the thigh. So that is your deep artery of the thigh, or arteria profunda femoris. You can voice out class if you have some concern because I am medyo mabilis yung pag-lecture ko kasi it's already 11:48. Okay, what are your branches? What are the branches of the femoral artery from the anterior aspect? Okay, so the branches of femoral artery from the anterior aspect are your superficial epigastric, superficial external pudendal, superficial circumflex iliac, profunda femoris or the deep femoral artery, and the deep external pudendal artery. So these are the branches of the femoral artery from the anterior aspect of the thigh. Okay, what are your circumflex? So from the deep artery, okay, that arises from the femoral, okay, so you have your um, artery that is circling the uppermost shaft of the femur. So these are your circumflex femoral arteries. O yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina na dalawa, the lateral and the medial circumflex, no? So these two structures, the anterior one is found on the anterior part of the neck of the femur, while the medial is go to the posterior side of the femur. And then what will happen, this lateral and your medial circumflex will anastomose, okay? Will anastomose and supply the thigh muscles in the superior end of the femur, okay? So those are some of your circumflex. Now, take a look at the medial circumflex femoral artery class. So this supplies the blood to the head and neck of the femur, and of course, this medial circumflex femoral artery will be the origin of the posterior retinacular artery. Okay, so your medial circumflex gives blood to the head and neck of the femur. So that's why class in cases of hip dislocation or fracture of the hip, no, there will be some formation of vascular necrosis due to the loss of blood supplying the head and neck of the femur. Kaya nagkakameron ng hip replacement class. Okay? So, if the medial circumflex artery will be injured, then what will happen? Okay? The blood supply going to the head and neck of the femur will be lost. Okay? So, one of the main branches, as I said, of your medial circumflex artery is your posterior retinacular artery. Now, the lateral circumflex femoral supplies the muscles on the lateral side of the thigh. Okay, so that is your lateral circumflex femoral artery. Okay, so this is how we're going to look at it, class. So you have your femoral artery there, no? And then you have your dip, no? So this is the deep branch, wherein the deep femoral will be giving rise to the medial circumflex, okay, that will be innervating the head of the femur, the neck and the head of the femur, and your lateral circumflex artery or the transverse branch of your deep femoral artery. Okay, so this is your deep artery class, deep artery to the thigh, or the arteria profunda femoris. Okay, then the deep branches, which also giving rise to the posterior retinacular arteries. So these are the smaller branches. Okay. Okay, by the way, class, no? This is where your adductor hiatus is found, or your Hunter's canal. Okay? So remember that the moment your femoral vessels enter the adductor hiatus, the vessels will be proceeding towards the popliteal fossa. Okay, so papasok na ng popliteal fossa from your adductor hiatus or your your Hunter's canal. Okay, so this is another picture showing your femoral artery giving off your deep femoral branch, and then you will see the femoral artery giving off, okay, the transverse branch or the lateral circumflex femoral and the medial circumflex femoral. Okay, so as I said, there will be some perforating vessels that will be entering, okay, entering the lumen of the femur. No, we are in the lower extremities. We are talking about the femur. Okay, so that this perforating artery will be giving off branches and enters that small opening and gives you the nutrient artery of the femur. Okay, so take a look at the retinacular arteries class, no? So you will have retinacular artery. So this is the anastomosis between the medial and the lateral circumflex. And then you will see that these vessels will be giving off the retinacular artery. So you have the inferior retinacular artery class, no? Supplying the synovial or the subsynovial, the anterior retinacular, okay, artery, and then you have your superior retinacular arteries. Okay, so they are mainly the ones that are supplying mainly the neck of the femur. Okay, and the origin is your circumflex, whether it is lateral and your transverse or the lateral or the medial circumflex arteries. Okay, so please take note of this circumflex arteries of the femur. Okay, arteries of the gluteal and the posterior region. Origin is the internal iliac arteries, no? So we have major branches of your internal iliac artery that supplies the transverse, okay, intraverse, no, or traverse the gluteal region. So the branches of your internal iliac arteries, okay, is the superior gluteal artery, okay, which arises from the posterior division of your internal iliac. The inferior gluteal artery that arises also from the posterior division of your internal iliac, and the internal pudendal artery that arises from the anterior division of the internal iliac. Okay, so these are the arteries that give blood to the gluteal and posterior thigh region. Okay, so in the posterior compartment, no major artery class exclusive to the posterior compartment. But the gluteal posterior compartment of the thigh class will be receiving multiple blood supply coming from your inferior gluteal artery, medial circumflex, perforating, and the popliteal artery. Okay? So as we said, there is no specific, okay, blood supply to the posterior compartment of the thigh, but it receives, okay, it receives multiple sources, okay, of blood supply. Okay, so you have also your superior gluteal artery, which is the largest branch, the largest branch of the internal iliac. Now, the superior gluteal is one of the vessels that enters your greater sciatic foramen, and it will be giving you the superior or the superficial branch of the superior gluteal, which will be supplying the gluteus maximus and skin over the proximal attachment of the muscle. And then you have a deep branch, that supplies your gluteus medius, minimus, and the tensor fascia lata. Inferior gluteal artery, oh my God, 11:57 na. Inferior gluteal artery, okay, will leave the pelvis also through your greater foramen, greater sciatic foramen, and it is found inferior to the piriformis. So your inferior gluteal artery will supply gluteus maximus, obturator, internus quadratus femoris, and of course the inferior portion or the superior portion of your hamstring muscles. Okay, so it is also existing, giving rise to an artery that supply your sciatic nerve. So that is your inferior gluteal artery. Okay, so we have perforating artery class. There are four perforating arteries coming from the deep artery of the thigh. Three will supply the anterior compartment of the thigh, and the fourth one, okay, will be the terminal branch of the deep artery. And then your perforating artery class will also perforate the aponeurotic portion of the distal attachment of the adductor magnus. Okay, so what are some of the branches of the perforating, okay, at the posterior compartment? So you have your muscular branches to hamstring, and then from the posterior compartment, it pierces the lateral intermuscular septum to the anterior compartment, supplying your vastus lateralis muscle. Okay? So, medyo mahaba kasi ang lecture class because my lecture is very detailed. Detailed na kasi yung lecture. But just the same, please also read your book. Okay, so ito class yung mga branches that you will see. Okay, nakalagay naman, meron siyang mga, ang tawag dito, no? Bracket, no? That will tell you what are the different branches that is found on the medial and posterior view of the thigh. Okay, so in the popliteal fossa, what are the structures that you could find in the popliteal fossa? So you have your popliteal artery class, no? And I told you that when your femoral artery enters the popliteal fossa, then your femoral artery becomes popliteal artery. And take note that how are you going to find it? Sometimes hindi nyo siya makita. Bakit hindi nyo makita ang popliteal artery? Because it is the deepest structure in the popliteal fossa. So siya yung pinakamalalim. Okay? Ang pinakamababaw is your tibial nerve. Okay? And then after the tibial, okay, just below the nerve is your femoral, I mean your popliteal vein. Okay, and then deep to your femoral, deep to your popliteal vein is your popliteal artery. And then your popliteal artery, okay, will be divided into two branches, okay, and that is your anterior tibial and the posterior tibial artery. Okay, so you have also genicular branches of the popliteal artery. What is the clinical significance class of the genicular arteries? So why is it that when you are squatting for a long time, no? How come pag nag-squat ka for a long time, no? Hindi nawawala ng blood supply ang lower part of the leg. Kasi 'di ba, there will be compression. Pag ikaw ay naka-full flex ang iyong knee, okay, what will happen to the popliteal vessel? The popliteal vessels will be compressed. So bakit hindi nangingitim or hindi nawawala ng blood supply ang lower extremity or yung lower leg? It is because of the presence of your popliteal artery genicular branches. Okay? So ito yung lateral circulation, no? Lateral circulation ng popliteal artery. So you have your superior lateral genicular, superior medial genicular, inferior lateral, and the inferior medial genicular artery. Okay, so they supply the capsule and ligaments of the knee and participate in the genicular anastomosis. So kaya nga hindi nawawala ng blood supply ang leg kapag ikaw ay naka-full knee flexion because of the lateral circulation maintained by the 5 genicular branches of your popliteal artery. Okay? So yan yung ating popliteal artery. Sabi natin, no? The most superficial part that is found in your popliteal fossa is your popliteal nerve or your tibial nerve, and then your popliteal vein, and then your popliteal artery. So medyo malalim na klase itong artery. So dapat you are going to dig in more, okay, to find your popliteal artery. Okay, so these are the different structures and how the different structures in relation to each other are found. Okay, alam niyo naman ano, the most anterior and most superficial is the tibial nerve, in between is the popliteal vein, and most medial side and the deepest is your popliteal artery. Okay, so in the anterior compartment of the leg, okay, you will see your anterior tibial. No, we said that the anterior tibial is one of the division of your popliteal artery. So it will be supplying the anterior compartment of the thigh. Okay, so your anterior tibial is the origin of your dorsal pedis artery. So you can feel pulsation of your dorsalis pedis artery at the dorsum of the foot. So you can always examine and feel, okay, any palpation on top of on the dorsum of your foot, and that is pulsation coming from your dorsal pedis artery. Okay, so this is your anterior tibial. Okay, it is found in between your two bones, class. No, so please try to look for your anterior tibial artery. Okay, which is one of the originating coming from your popliteal. Oh, class, these are the genicular branches, okay, of your popliteal artery. It is found around, okay, anastomosing each other around your knee, okay, to prevent um, necrosis or loss of blood supply when the knee is in full flexion. Okay, so posterior compartment is another branch of your popliteal artery, and that is your posterior tibial artery. Okay, so it would be supplying all the structures of the posterior compartment to the foot. Okay, and remember that for you to look for your posterior tibial artery, you look for your popliteus muscle. Okay, and then you will see your posterior tibial artery on the distal border of your popliteus muscle. Okay, so your posterior tibial artery is the origin of your tibular artery, class. Okay, and take note that the posterior tibial artery will be giving off muscular branches to the popliteus muscles and other muscles of the posterior and lateral compartment of the leg. Okay, so posterior tibial, okay, will run deep to the flexor retinaculum. Okay, and then your posterior tibial artery will divide into two branches and giving off the medial plantar arteries and the lateral plantar artery. So they are giving blood to the sole of the foot. And then, of course, you have also your fibular artery, okay, the nutrient artery of the fibula. Okay, what else? Perforating branches. Okay, so they will be piercing, no? Yung perforating branch, class, are the vessels that is perforating your interosseous membrane. So pagka nakita nyo na yung connection, no, connecting your tibia and the fibula, you look for the interior interosseous membrane, and then you will see a vessel, no? So that vessel is your perforating branch. Okay, and then the perforating branch will anastomose with the arcuate artery of the on the dorsum of your foot. Okay, so you have also your lateral calcaneal artery that supplies the heel, and you have also the lateral malleolar branch that joins, okay, malleolar branches to form the periarticular arterial anastomosis of the ankle. Okay, so these are the anterior vessels of the posterior compartment of the leg. Okay, so you have also your circumflex fibular, okay, and then nutrient artery of the tibia. So ito yung mga vessels, class, that is entering the small openings in your tibia. Okay, so it will also giving rise to the proximal third, no, the blood vessel, okay, of the proximal third of the posterior surface of the tibia. Ayan. So yan class yun, no? So that is your posterior tibial. Okay, so that will be your fibular and this is your nutrient artery to the tibia. Okay, then it will be giving rise to the medial and the lateral malleolar branch and medial plantar and the lateral plantar artery. Okay, so to the foot. Okay, so the very important vessel that you need to identify here, class, is your dorsalis pedis. Yeah, so this is your anterior tibial artery, which is the origin of your dorsalis pedis. Okay, so where can you find? Okay, from the midway between the malleoli, okay, and passes to the first interosseous and divides into first dorsal, metatarsal, and the plantar artery. So these are the branches of your dorsalis pedis. Okay, sa foot, you have your deep plantar artery. So your deep plantar artery, this one class, no? So it will be joining the lateral plantar artery to give you the deep plantar arch. Okay, so this is your lateral plantar. Okay, can you see? This is your lateral plantar class, which is the originating coming from your posterior tibial. Okay, so posterior tibial will give rise to lateral plantar, wherein this lateral plantar class, okay, will anastomose with your deep plantar artery. Okay? And give you the deep plantar arch. So, yan ang plantar arch class. Okay? Okay, so you have also the lateral tarsal artery class. Okay, so the lateral artery anastomose with other branches and becomes your archway, no? Kapag naman sa arteries ng foot. Okay? So you're looking at the dorsum, no? Yung isa nasa, ano yun, nasa sole. So at the dorsum of the foot, it is called arcuate artery. So how is arcuate artery formed? By the anastomosis between your dorsalis or the plantar or dorsalis pedis plus your lateral tarsal artery. Yan. Ayan. So magpuporma siya ng arcuate. And then you will have your first dorsal metatarsal artery plus the arcuate artery, okay? And then give rise to your dorsal metatarsal. Okay? So from the dorsal metatarsal, magiging ano na siya, dorsal digital artery. Okay? So just look at the picture class and you'll be able to remember the different blood supply to the foot. Okay? So, ganyan lang naman ang itsura class. Okay? Paano siya pumupunta and becomes part of your dorsal digital artery and the plantar metatarsal artery. Okay? Okay, so this is your medial plantar. Okay? And then you have the lateral plantar class, no? Please try to read more. Anyway, they are already in the Google Classroom. Oh, extend tayo ng konti class, ha? Mga 10 minutes pa. And then we will just start around 1:30. 1:30 tayo mag-meet ulit. Okay, superficial veins. So remember class that there are two most superficial vein of the lower extremity. And that is your great saphenous vein and the other one is the small saphenous vein. So your great saphenous vein class is formed through the union of the dorsal vein of the great toe and the dorsal venous arch of the foot. So yung lahat ng mga nakikita ninyo class ng blood vessel on the dorsum of your foot are called dorsal venous arch of the foot. And then merong isang vein na nanggagaling sa big toe. So these two vessels will unite and form your great saphenous vein. And then saan mo siya makikita? It will be passing through your medial malleolus. Okay, and then it will be passing on the medial side of your leg until it reaches your saphenous opening, no? The saphenous opening which is located below your below your inguinal ligament, no? So this saphenous opening is found in the fascia lata, okay? And then your great saphenous vein will be drained towards the femoral vein, okay? So remember that your great saphenous vein consists of 10 to 12 valves. So kaya nga kapag normal ang individual class, no, wala siyang congestion. But what will happen if there will be some loss and injury or deficiency of the valves of your femoral vein, okay, or your great saphenous vein, I should say. Then what will happen? There will be formation of varicosities. Bakit kaya nagkakamero ng varicosities ang isang tao? Bakit yung binti niya puro varicosities? Because of the deficiency of the femoral valves, okay? Remember that, as I said, there are 10 to 12 valves of your great saphenous vein. And because when your femoral valves or these valves are deficient, no, so there will be regurgitation of blood, paakyat, pataas, no, hindi siya magpo-flow. Remember that the flow of blood is going towards the femoral vein, no? So ano mangyayari ngayon? Instead na dahil hindi nagpapunction yung femoral valve, no? The blood will be regurgitating. Babalik siyang pababa. So ano nangyayari ngayon? There will be fullness of the great saphenous vein and there will be congestion of blood to the great saphenous vein. Kaya mayroong varicosities. Okay, so aside from your small great saphenous, you have your small or the lesser saphenous. So this will be a union of the dorsal vein of the little toe, no, small toe, plus the dorsal venous arch of the foot. And then it will be passing on the lateral malleolus, okay, and passes to the lateral border of the calcaneus or the calcaneal tendon, and then it will empty into the popliteal fossa to your popliteal vein. So maiksi lang class ang small saphenous vein. Kasi pagdating when it reaches the popliteal fossa, okay, your small saphenous vein will become femoral vein. Okay? So that is how are you going to look at the superficial veins of the lower extremity. Okay, so we said the femoral vein is just a continuation of the popliteal vein. And then what will happen? It will enter the femoral sheath. Okay? Lateral to your femoral canal. Okay? I hope that it was discussed by Dr. Hershey, no? The femoral triangle. Ano ba ang content ng femoral triangle? Remember that in your femoral triangle, you have your femoral sheath. And this femoral sheath class, okay, is the one that ensheaths the vessels, okay, of the thigh. And remember that the femoral nerve is not included. So nasa labas ang femoral nerve, serving as the most lateral structure found in the femoral angle, okay, or the femoral triangle. So you will see that the first compartment, the lateral compartment, will ensheath the femoral artery, okay, and then the femoral vein will be ensheathed by the, okay, the medial compartment or the intermediate compartment of your femoral sheath in the femoral triangle, okay, and then the medial compartment, okay, is found where your femoral canal is. Okay, so ang laman lang ng femoral is if it is ng medial compartment is the femoral canal, which is the common site of the femoral hernia. Okay, or if not, you will see some femoral patch or patch covering. Okay, your or found inside the femoral canal or the femoral medial femoral sheath. Okay, so that's why class in the lab you will not be able to see your saphenous opening not unless you remove its covering. Okay, so you will see your great saphenous vein entering, no, entering the femoral vein. Okay, so your femoral vein will be receiving blood coming from the deep vein of the thigh, great saphenous vein, and other tributaries. Okay, so the deep vein of the thigh is formed by the union of three or four perforating veins and enter the femoral vein. Okay, so this is how are you going to look at it, class. So you have your saphenous opening. Yan ang saphenous opening. Ganyan-ganyan class ang itsura ng saphenous opening. And then you will see your great saphenous vein entering. So this is your femoral vein and this is your femoral artery. As I said, hindi siya ganyan ang makikita ninyo, class. You need to remove the covering. So may covering yan pag katanggal ninyo ng fascia, and then you will see, hindi nyo pa rin makikita itong mga vessel because they are inside of the femoral sheath. So you need to open up and dissect the femoral sheath before you will be able to see your femoral artery inside the lateral compartment of the femoral sheath, medial compartment, femoral vein, and then sa side na ito, okay, is the femoral canal, which is found at the medial compartment of your femoral triangle. So yan yung mga perforating veins, class. So this is your great saphenous vein. We said ang origin ng great saphenous coming from the big toe plus your dorsal venous network. Then it will pass on the medial side of the medial malleolus, okay, pass through, go up, okay, on the side of the medial side of the knee, and then enters your saphenous opening and empties into the femoral vein. The small or the small saphenous opening from the small toe together with the plantar venous network and then pass to the lateral side of the lateral malleolus in between the tendon or beside the tendon of your Achilles, and then enters the popliteal fossa and empty into the popliteal vein. Okay, so these are the venous drainage of the lower extremity. Okay, so ganun lang, class, no, ang venous drainage. Okay, so just look at this picture. Okay, so doon naman sa foot, no, so yan yung dorsal venous network. So dorsal venous network, yan. So it will go up, okay, and becomes your and empty into your femoral vein. Okay, class, nasa lymphatic drainage na tayo, malapit na tayo matapos, no. Yan, baka matapos tayo before 10. Before 10. Okay, so lymphatic drainage, remember that there are two lymphatic drainage from the tissues of the buttocks will follow the gluteal vessels. Okay, so it will be emptying, or the lymph will be drained towards the superior and the inferior gluteal lymph nodes. Okay, saan pupunta yung lymph ng inferior and coming from the inferior and superior gluteal lymph nodes, no? It will now be moving towards the internal, external, and the common iliac lymph nodes. And then from the internal, external, common iliac lymph nodes, it will be emptying to your lateral lumbar lymph node. Ayan naman, class, na nakalagay naman. So these are the green structures, no, following your veins. Okay? So remember, class, that we have two types of your superficial inguinal lymph node, the horizontal and the vertical. Okay, so this is your horizontal, okay, inguinal lymph nodes, and this is your vertical inguinal lymph node. Okay, so remember that lymph coming from the superficial tissues of the gluteal region will enter the superficial inguinal lymph node. Ayan yon. Okay, so all superficial inguinal lymph nodes send efferent lymphatic vessels towards the external iliac lymph nodes. Okay? So papunta na sa external iliac lymph node. Okay, so ito, class, yung ating lymphatic drainage of the lower extremities. Okay? Remember, class, that the lymphatic drainage is a one-way direction. Okay? And remember that lymph are just excess fluid. Remember that the lymphatic duct, class, consists of valves which are perforated. So there are overlapping of your lymphatic wall, lymphatic vessel wall. And because of the overlapping, okay, there will be formation of the flapping of your endothelial wall of your lymphatic duct. Okay, so doon lalabas yung, paano nakakalabas yung lymph because of the opening, okay, in between the overflapping of the wall of the lymphatic vessel. Okay, and then kapag lumabas na yon, no, it will be follow the circulation of your lymph until it reaches that part of the lymph that is very near to the heart. Okay, and then join the venous circulation. Okay, so that is how we're going to look at the lymphatic drainage of the extremities. Okay, so nakalagay naman dyan class kung saan siya arrows refresh it to the continuation of the lymph drainage from the lower limb via superficial inguinal lymph node. Okay, so just always remember class that lymph flow is a one-way direction. Okay, so ayan class, please read it. Okay, so I think that's the last. Okay, so yung ating magagaling sa mga medial side ng ating foot, okay yan, meron namang arrow, no? Yan, so dyan lahat siya papasok. Okay, and enters the superficial inguinal lymph nodes vertical, no? So kapag medial side of the foot, enters siya sa vertical group, okay, in the superficial inguinal region. Okay, so this is about the neurovascular structures of the lower extremity. Okay, so do you have any concern, class, about the lecture today? Huh? Anong oras na? It's already 12:25 sa watch ko. Do you have anything to clarify before we go? So that we could have lunch. Okay, ano ba yung mga dapat tandaan, no? Pagka sinabi nating lumbosacral plexus, no? So it involves your nerves coming from the lumbar plexus and the sacral. So pagka sinabi nating lumbosacral, no, starting from your L1, L2, L3, L4. Okay, and then pagka sinabi nating lumbar plexus, remember that there are contributions coming from your T12 in your lumbar side. Okay, and then kapag naman sacral, okay, it is from S1 to S5. Okay, and then again, how are you going to take note of your lumbosacral trunk? No, we said that your lumbosacral trunk will give rise from your L4 and your L5. Okay, so take a look at the different branches of your lumbar plexus, whether they are considered and classified as anterior and posterior division. So that is the first thing, no, na inyong titingnan. And then when you are looking at the lumbar plexus, okay, which among the branches of your lumbar plexus will be emerging from the lateral side of the psoas major? What branches of the lumbar plexus will emerge on the medial side of your psoas major, and what branch of the lumbar plexus will emerge on the substance of your psoas major? Okay, so yung pala yung assignment ninyo, class, no? Parang hindi ko yata siya na-mention eh, no? So you have an assignment aside from the ano tawag dito? Formative quiz, no? Yung isang picture doon, yung isang slide, just isusulat nyo lang naman kung ano yung mga pangalan ng mga branches na hindi identified doon sa picture. And then include yung second assignment, branches of the lumbar plexus emerging on the lateral side of psoas, branches of lumbar plexus emerging from the medial side, and branches of the lumbar plexus emerging on the substance of the psoas major. So that is an additional assignment, class, no? I-discuss natin yan sa face-to-face natin next week. Okay, sa ano naman, kapag naman sinabing ano tawag dito, arterial blood supply. Okay, what is the origin of your blood supply, arterial blood supply of the lower extremity. Saan ang origin? Hi Jackie, andiyan ka pa rin. Saan ang gagaling? So magtatawag ako, no, maski 3 minutes. Okay, Mr. James, saan ang origin? Saan ang pinaka-origin ng iyong arterial blood supply of the lower extremity? I-trace mo. Okay, yung nasa picture ko dun sa first slide ng arterial supply. Saan ang pinaka-origin?
Sa ano po? Femoral artery.
Anong pinaka-origin? Paano natin iti-trace? Okay, you have your abdominal aorta. Okay, mag-start tayo sa abdominal aorta. After abdominal aorta, what will be the next level? James, wala ka pang binanggit. Ano kasunod after ng ano? Sige, trace natin. What will be the next after your abdominal aorta?
Yung ano po, external iliac artery.
After abdominal aorta, ano muna? Your abdominal aorta will branch out. So, ano yung branches na ibibigay ng abdominal aorta? Jane Galamiton.
Hi, good afternoon po, Doc. Doc, yun po ba yung common iliac artery?
So, after your abdominal aorta will branch out. And then, it will give rise to the right and the left common iliac. Okay? Ano pangat? Juliana Faye. After common iliac, okay, your common iliac will give rise to what next branches? Dapat mabilis yun. Okay, Grace.
Doc, yung
after the common iliac, anong kasunod?
Magbe-branch out po sa external at internal iliac artery.
Okay, so you have your external iliac and your internal iliac. Okay, saan pupunta ang external iliac? Jan Melanie.
Doc, to femoral po.
So your external iliac will continue past beneath your inguinal ligament and change its name. It becomes your femoral artery. Okay? Okay, so Kate Gudes, saan pumupunta naman ang internal iliac artery? Kate? So your internal iliac artery, if your external iliac, okay, will change its name and becomes femoral, what will happen to the internal iliac? Rogibel, Calyaw. What will happen?
Doc, magiging, pupunta po sa, tama ba? Sa inferior, yung posterior side po.
Anong sinusupplyan niya? Your internal iliac, okay, Kali Daphne Mendoza. Saan pupunta ang internal iliac? It will...
pelvic cavity po.
Okay, so it will supply all the structures in the pelvic cavity. Okay? Okay, so doon tayo ngayon sa femoral. Okay, so we said that ito tinitrace na natin yung blood supply so that you will remember, no? So, yun ito. K. Charmaine. Okay, the femoral artery, okay, will be passing on the lateral side of your inguinal ligament. Then what will happen to your femoral artery? Charmaine? Naku, ano ka pakimute mo. Unmute pala, hindi mute. Gutom na tayo, no? Konti pa. 3 minutes pa. Hindi nyo matrace. Okay, Mark Justin Paraiso. Ano mayroon sa femoral? Saan pupunta ang femoral? Sabi natin ang internal iliac will supply blood in the pelvic cavity. Saan punta ang femoral?
Dadaan po ng adductor po. Adductor. Hiatus.
Saan mo na pupunta? Ano is the supply niya? Di ba sabi natin, the internal iliac, okay, will give rise branches, no? Hindi lang sa pelvic cavity, ha? Remember that the buttocks, okay, the blood supply of the buttocks originated from the internal iliac. So, nasa femoral artery ngayon tayo. Saan pupunta ang femoral artery? Ha? Maria Sofia.
Sa thighs po ba?
Okay, kasi we are now discussing the blood supply. So ang ibig sabihin, the femoral artery, okay, being the blood supply originating all the structures of the lower extremities. So doon pupunta sa lower extremity. Okay? Okay. Nasa femoral artery pa rin tayo. Okay. Lovely Andrea. What are the branches of your femoral artery?
Yung isa po dun yung superficial epigastric artery, pati yung external.
Remember class that yung femoral artery na ang ating tinitrace ngayon ay femoral artery. Well, in the femoral artery, nandun pa lang tayo below your lateral side of your inguinal ligament. So nasa ngayon ang femoral artery? Ha? Andrea? Anong content ng iyong femoral triangle class? Anong content ng femoral triangle? Okay, Thea Marie. Anong content ng femoral triangle? Pauline Andre. Tama ba ang basa ko, Pauline Andre? Ha? What is the most lateral side? What is the most lateral content of your femoral triangle? We said that the femoral nerve is included or not included in the femoral. The content of your femoral triangle, may makikita kang femoral sheath. Okay? So inside of your femoral triangle, you will find the femoral sheath. So where can you find now the femoral nerve, Thea Marie? Pauline Andre, nasaan si femoral nerve? Magbasa ng advanced class, ha? Okay, the femoral nerve, okay, it is not covered with the femoral sheath. Okay? It is outside of the femoral sheath. Kaya nga pagka nag-dissect ka ng femoral triangle, you will see immediately your femoral nerve is scattered on the lateral side of your femoral sheath. Pero hindi mo siya makikita, you will not be able to see your vessels. Bakit? How come you will not be able to see your vessels? Ano ito? Hindi ko mabasa. Ang liit. Liberty, Pasawa. Bakit hindi makikita ang femoral vessel? Nakikinig, nag-o-observe si Dr. Jack. Ha? Sino pa ba ang nag-o-observe? Bakit? Bakit hindi mo makita ang femoral sheath? Next, Joy Ann Nicole. May nagtataw po order it. Excuse me. Bakit? Bakit hindi why is it that you will not be able to see? You can identify your femoral nerve, but the femoral vessels you can't identify. Anong meron?
Sa the player po?
Because your femoral vessels are inside your femoral sheath. Ano yun? So you have your femoral sheath. So we said that the femoral sheath is divided into 3 compartments. Okay? So what is the content? Now, what are the 3 femoral compartments of your femoral sheath? Hindi ko mabasa. Kaylee Espina. Dali, para makakain na tayo ng lunch, 12:37 na. Ha? Anong content ng iyong what are the three compartment of your femoral sheath? The lateral, the medial or the intermediate, and the medial compartment. What is the content of your lateral femoral sheath? Romilay, Mateo. Dapat alam niyo ito kasi magdadissect kayo sa next face to face. No? Please class, read in advance, no? Because it will be very difficult if you do not know how to identify them. Hindi kayo makaka-dissect kasi class if you do not know ang inyong i-dissect. So you need to know and read in advance. No? Otherwise, mai-injure ninyo yung mga vessel, yung mga structure. Anong content ng lateral compartment? We said we have the lateral, medial, and the medial compartment of your femoral sheath. O Princess Darlimple, anong content ng lateral femoral sheath?
Femoral artery and femoral part.
Femoral artery. Ano yon? May dinagdag ka?
Femoral part of genitofemoral nerve.
Hindi nga kasama ang femoral nerve sa femoral sheath. Remember class femoral nerve, pag open nyo ng femoral triangle, you can immediately identify your femoral nerve on the most lateral side of your femoral triangle kasi nga, it is not covered with femoral sheath. And then my next question, bakit pag na-identify mo na sa femoral sheath, asa na mga vessel? Ba't hindi ko ma-identify? Because we said, the femoral vessels are within or inside the femoral sheath. So anong gagawin mo ngayon? No? You identify alin ang lateral femoral sheath, medial femoral sheath, the medial femoral sheath, and the medial femoral sheath. Okay? And then pag na-identify mo na, nakita mo yung lateral femoral sheath, nakatabi ng femoral nerve, you are going to open it. And when you open it, anong makikita mo ngayon? So, anong content, Greg? Hindi, ang laman ng lateral femoral sheath ay hindi kasama ang femoral nerve. No? Always remember that femoral nerve is not covered or is not found within a femoral sheath. Okay, femoral vessels lang. So, anong content kayo ng lateral femoral sheath?
Femoral artery po, Doc.
Femoral artery lang. And then yung intermediate or the middle, anong laman? Tricia, biglang awa. Isa-isa ko na kanina, nagle-lecture ako. Anong content? Diba, ano yung transition ng vessels? Nub. Okay? Nub. N-A-B. Most lateral is the nerve, femoral nerve. Middle, artery. Okay? And then, on the medial side is your veins. Kaya nga nub. Nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein. So the femoral vein is inside of your intermediate or middle compartment of your middle femoral sheath. Anong content naman ngayon ng medial femoral sheath? Anong laman ng femoral sheath? Sino ito? Hindi ko babasa ang name kasi kulay puti. Nicole Salvador.
Sa medial po, femoral canal.
Huh?
Femoral vein.
Ang laman ng middle or intermediate femoral sheath is the femoral vein. So, anong component ng medial? Iba yung medial sa middle. No, laterality class. Asa ng medial? Yung mas malapit sa gitna. Yung middle is in between your medial compartment and lateral compartment. The other name is intermediate femoral sheath. So, ano laman ngayon ng medial femoral sheath? Ala. Inisa-isa ko nga kanina yun eh. O, Chelsea, Abraham. Anong laman ng medial femoral sheath? O, yung pinakamataas sa exam, si Miss Pengson.
Doc,
Anong
lymphatic vessels po.
Ha?
Lymphatic vessels po.
Lymphatic vessel. Ano pa yung pinaka-importanting content ng medial compartment ng femoral sheath? The highest in the exam is Miss Pengson. She got 89. No? Siya yung pinakamataas. Oh, Miss Pengson, aside from your lymphatic vessel, what structures can you also found, no, inside of your medial compartment of your femoral sheath?
Yung lymph nodes din po.
Aside
Lymph
from your
nodes
femoral
din po.
vessel, the
Lymph nodes po.
hindi eh. Okay, Rogine, Regente, Dionida. Anong pinaka-important ng structure doon na makikita mo sa medial compartment of your femoral sheath? Nasa femoral sheath pa lang tayo, ha? Paabutin tayo ng 2:00. Meron pa tayong radioanatomy at saka back, ng haba-haba ng back. Ha? Ang content ng medial compartment ng femoral sheath is the femoral canal, no? Femoral canal. And what is the clinical significance of your femoral canal? Anong meron sa femoral canal? Okay, please class, read in advance. Kaya nga mayroon kayong weekly schedule, no? May weekly schedule na from time to time, i-mention ko pa, our topic for next week is like this and like that. No? Ang ibig sabihin, kaya pinapublish yung, miski nakalagay na nga yung inyong weekly schedule, meron na kayong kopya, imagine ini-announce ko pa sa Google Classroom yung topic. Oo nga, kasi ang purpose is for you at least to read in advance para magkameron ng interactive discussion class. Okay? So the most important content is the femoral ring. So the femoral ring is inside of your femoral canal, which is the common site of your femoral hernia. Okay, so nandito na tayo sa anterior compartment, no? So in the anterior compartment, your femoral vessels will enter your adductor hiatus or your hunters. Okay, what muscle gives rise to the adductors canal or the hunters canal? Ha? Kanino na tayo? Bianca, ano ito? Bianca Elvira Santos. Bianca Maria. Saan pupunta yung ano? Kanina may sumagot nun eh. Lumukso agad siya dun eh. It will enter your adductor hiatus or your hunter's canal. What muscle is part of your hunters? It is your adductor magnus. Okay, and then pag nasa adductor magnus na, remember that in between your, what is the biggest branch of your femoral artery? Okay, the largest branch is the deep. Okay, deep femoral. Okay, and remember that your deep femoral will be giving rise to so many branches. Kasama na yung mga circumflex and the retinacular and the genicular arteries. Okay, and then from there, saan pupunta? From the adductor hiatus. Okay, saan pupunta ngayon ang vessels from the adductor hiatus? Nakay ano na tayo? Mikairi, Nicole. Saan pupunta from your adductor hiatus? Pinakita ko kanina yun nung pinakikita ko yung slide. Okay, so from the adductor hiatus pupunta ng popliteal fossa. Okay? Okay, pagdating sa popliteal fossa, okay, your femoral artery will become what? how we are tracing now the arterial blood supply. O, kung nasa popliteal fossa ka na, wala na si femoral artery. Kasi si femoral artery mo naging popliteal artery na pagdating sa popliteal fossa. Diba? And then, pagdating sa popliteal fossa, what will happen to your popliteal artery? It will give rise to two major branches. What are the two major branches of your popliteal artery? Lisette.
Anterior tibial po, tsaka posterior tibial.
Okay, anterior tibial at saka posterior tibial. Okay? So your anterior tibial now will give rise to another branch. Felt at the dorsum of your foot. Proilin. Ano yung branch ng anterior tibial? Ha? Nakakapamo yung pulsation at the dorsum of your foot. Angelica. Ano pa ito? Hindi ko babasa eh. Kasi kulay puti yung background. Parang angelic. Okay, Sporna. Ano yung nagpapulsate sa ibabaw ng iyong paa? Angelica Rose, Ninya.
Dorsalis pedis po ba?
Okay, your dorsalis pedis. And then your dorsalis pedis now will branch out and give branches to the foot. Okay, so just remember na pagka naman venous supply, yung great saphenous vein, yung the two most superficial are the great saphenous vein and the left saphenous vein or the small saphenous. Saan ang origin ng great saphenous? Saan tayo? Ito lang, and then I will let you go. Marlene Santiago. Anong origin ng great saphenous vein? Mr. Magat, Joseph. Saan ang origin ng great saphenous? France, Avila. Nathan. Gutom na. Okay, the origin will be your vein coming from the big toe in the dorsal venous network. Okay, and then your great saphenous vein will passing the medial malleolus, went up on the medial side of your knee, okay, and went to the medial side of the thigh and enters the saphenous opening. Saan mag-i-empty? Patricia Marie. Wala, tulog na. Okay, your great saphenous vein will enter and empty, will enter the saphenous opening and empty to your femoral vein. Yun namang lesser saphenous, okay, it will originate from the small toe, okay, and then it will unite with your dorsal venous network and then pass by way of the lateral malleolus and then pass through the tendons of your Achilles and then went towards your popliteal fossa. Saan siya mag-i-empty? Saan mag-i-empty ang small saphenous vein? It will empty into your popliteal vein. Okay? And that's it. Tapos na yung venous drainage ng iyong popliteal vein. Okay? So please try to review class. I am hoping that pagdating natin sa face-to-face next week, no? Kasi magde-demo lang ako how to dissect. Okay? But please, students, you need to read. Kasi nga hindi po pwede mag-dissect without reading ng lessons. Kasi paano kayo mag-identify? Okay? Okay, so I will let you go. It's already 12:50 sa watch ko. We will meet at 1:30. Okay lang ba sa inyo 1:30? Ha? Kasi kung pagod kayo, pagod na rin ako. Imagine, 3 lecture ako ngayon today. No? 3 lecture ako. Ang haba pa ng back